Welcome back. Today we're diving into some source material that tells some really unsettling stories.
Yeah, these are accounts that apparently happened during, the lockdown period, a strange time for everyone.
Definitely. And these stories kind of blur the lines between our online lives and, well, real-world fear.
That's right. The main source we're pulling from is excerpts from a YouTube video transcript. It's called 3 Nightmares Zoom Call Horror Stories.
Okay, so 3 different stories, all claiming some really disturbing things went down during Zoom calls.
Exactly. These individuals shared their experiences, and Zoom was kind of central to what happened.
So our goal here is to basically unpack these accounts as they're told in the sources. We'll follow the events, pull out the key details.
Really chilling details.
And just try to understand what people reported experiencing.
Yeah.
Based on these firsthand narratives.
It's quite a look at how these platforms we all use to connect
Yeah, relied on them.
could, in these alleged cases, turn into something else. Something scary.
Okay, let's get into the first one. The source calls it the unexpected guest.
Right. So the narrator sets this up, peak lockdown, April. It's a Friday night.
Nothing else to do.
Pretty much. So a Zoom drinking party. 5 friends. Ashley, Haley, Sylvia, Alexa, and the narrator.
Sounds normal enough to start.
Yeah, friends joining one by one. The narrator mentions they started on their phone, then switched to a laptop. Alexa joins last.
And that's when things get weird.
Immediately. Her screen's just black, webcam, microphone offline.
Uh-oh, tech issues.
Yeah, she has to use the text chat. She types burb, be right back, gonna try and fix it.
Okay, so she logs off or goes quiet.
She just kind of steps away from the computer, seems like. The others just carry on chatting, drinking.
Right, and then?
And then, completely out of the blue, Alexa's camera feed just activates. Screen's not black anymore.
Whoa, did she fix it?
Well, sort of, but what they see isn't Alexa. The narrator describes an old, creepy man.
What?
In Alexa's room, apparently. The source says he was doing something, doesn't specify what. Okay. And then he seems to realize the camera is on. He jumps, lunges forward, and slams the laptop lid shut.
Making the screen go black again. Wow.
Yeah. And the reaction on the call is, instant chaos. Screaming, panic.
I bet. They saw someone in her room.
Exactly. They immediately try calling Alexa's phone.
Did she pick up?
No. Straight to voicemail, phone's off.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
And they realize they don't have her mom's number or her sister's. Just pure panic.
So what do?
They make a snap decision, get in the car, drive to Alexa's house. Now.
Good call. Okay.
They get there, knock, and Alexa's mom answers. She seems worried, but says, Alexa's home. She got back maybe an hour ago.
An hour ago, but they just saw them
Right, the timeline's totally off. The mom calls up to Alexa's room, no answer. She mentions the door's locked.
Okay, this is getting worse. Do they tell the mom what they saw?
Yes. They explain the Zoom thing, seeing the man in the room just half an hour before.
How does she react?
Understandably, she freaks out, runs upstairs, starts banging on Alexa's locked door. Still nothing.
Oh my God.
The narrator says this sickly feeling just hits everyone. Knowing what they saw, the locked door, no response.
They have to call the police.
Mom calls 911 immediately. Officer Perry shows up first.
They tell him the whole story, the Zoom call, everything.
Yep. He takes it seriously, calls for backup, then heads upstairs.
Does he try talking to whoever's inside?
Yeah, tries to reason, gets no response, so he kicks the door in.
Okay, what's inside?
The room's
Empty. Empty. Where's Alexa?
not there. Laptop and phone are on the bed, though. But the window?
What about it?
It's wide open, leads out onto an awning roof below. Looks like someone definitely left that way. In a hurry.
But where do they find Alexa?
Minutes later, hiding downstairs in the basement, under a blanket.
Thank goodness. What did she say happened?
Her story is terrifying, too. She said she was home alone earlier, saw an older man inside the house in the living room. He had a big knife sticking out of his pocket.
Jesus. So she just hid.
Ran straight to the basement and hid. She didn't hear her mom come home, so she just stayed put, totally terrified, didn't know when it was safe.
Wow. So the friend seeing him on Zoom?
Yeah.
That was completely separate from her seeing him earlier.
It seems like it. The friend saw him after she was already hiding. That brief moment the camera flickered on.
That might have saved her life, because it made them come over.
Exactly. That's what the narrator thinks, too. A tech glitch turned into a rescue mission, basically.
That's insane. What happened with the intruder?
Well, backup police arrive. They put out an alert with the description. The narrator ends by just saying how wild it is that Zoom might have saved Alexa and her mom.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? about how connected we are, but also how exposed maybe.
Yeah, that digital window showed something the person inside didn't even know was being broadcast. Unexpected danger revealed remotely.
Truly chilling. Okay, let's move to the second story, the digital intruder.
Okay, so this one, the narrator says, happened a few weeks later. Same group of friends, roughly.
What's the setup this time?
They decide to host a big online reunion for college alumni. Also on Zoom during lockdown.
Okay, a bigger group then.
Huge group expected. So instead of texting everyone, they just shared the Zoom link publicly on an Instagram story.
Ooh, publicly. That feels risky.
Yeah, the narrator explicitly says that was a huge mistake in hindsight.
Okay, so the meeting starts.
Yeah, starts fine. People joining, catching up, virtual reunion stuff. Having a good time. Until someone joins with the username Satan20.
Okay, that username alone is a bit of a red flag.
Right. After a bit, this user unmutes and just starts making groaning sounds.
Oh, come on. A troll.
That's what they thought. They figured it was their friend Anne pulling a prank. They even texted her like, haha, very funny, stop it.
Was it Anne?
Nope. She texts back, sorry I couldn't make it, I'm busy.
Oh, so not a friend.
Definitely not. So they tell Satan20, show your face or we're kicking you out. No response, no camera. So the narrator, who's hosting, removes them.
Problem solved.
For a minute, they're kind of laughing it off. And then the narrator's own internet connection gets shaky. They drop out of the meeting for just a few seconds.
Oh, bad timing. Does that unlock the meeting or something?
It must have, briefly. Because in that tiny window, Satan20 gets back in.
Oh. Persistent.
And this time, it escalates. Big time. The users start screen sharing.
What do they share?
A video of, a black tunnel on a loop. And they start chanting in some weird language nobody understands.
Okay, that's moved from annoying to genuinely creepy.
Totally. People start getting scared and leaving the call.
But the original group stays.
The narrator and their close friends, they're freaked out but also determined. They keep trying to remove the user again.
Can they?
They're trying, but then it gets even weirder. Another friend's connection dips for a second.
Not again.
And somehow, in that moment, Satan20 manages to become the host of the meeting.
What? How is that even possible?
No idea, but suddenly this intruder has full control. They can't be removed anymore.
So they're stuck with this person chanting and showing a weird tunnel video.
Yeah. Terrified, but they stay on, trying to figure out what is going on.
Then what?
Then the video stops. Satan20 starts speaking, but the voice is distorted, changed.
And what do they say? This is where it gets really specific, right?
Incredibly specific. The distorted voice starts talking about the narrator's brother, calls him Wrath.
Wrath.
Yeah. Says Wrath completed some ritual, attained salvation, and that Satan20 can help the rest of them do the same.
Okay, that's bizarre. Does the narrator have a brother named Wrath?
This is the core of it. The narrator explains they did have a twin brother named Wrath who died before birth.
Oh my god. Prenatal death?
Yes. Something incredibly private and painful. The narrator says only their parents and grandparents even knew about him.
And they'd never told these friends. Or anyone in this new city.
Never. It wasn't something they talked about.
Ever. So for this random hostile Zoom intruder to suddenly bring up that name...
Exactly. It completely floors the narrator. How could this person possibly know?
There's no logical explanation they can think of.
None. They become convinced it's something else. Something supernatural.
I mean, you can see why. That's deeply unsettling.
The narrator says their hands were shaking. They just wordlessly exited the meeting, left the call.
And the source says they haven't really talked to those friends since.
Yeah, hasn't responded to texts, just too shaken up. Calls it an unforgettable experience.
Wow. That one really hits differently. It's not just physical intrusion, it's like psychic intrusion. Knowledge they shouldn't have.
It taps into that fear of exposure online, but takes it way further. Not just seeing into your room, but seemingly into your deepest secrets. Violation on a whole other level.
Truly disturbing. Okay, one more story left from the source material. This one's called Under the Bed.
Right. This one is set around April or May of that same lockdown year.
Who's involved here?
The narrator is home, it's night, dad's on a night shift, mom's asleep upstairs. The narrator's basically alone downstairs.
What are they doing?
On Zoom again, with friends. Around 10 p.m., they're just hanging out, playing console games, Call of Duty, specifically mentioned.
Okay, typical teenager night during lockdown.
Pretty much. The narrator's room is dark, just lit by the TV screen glow.
Sets a mood.
Yeah. And then the first weird thing happens. But it's a friend on the Zoom call who notices, friend called Jack.
What was Jack see?
Jack says he thought he saw like a quick blurred movement behind the narrator in the room.
Behind them, while they're gaming.
Yeah. But Jack isn't sure because the room's so dark.
Does the narrator check?
Well, the narrator notices something else around then. Their pillow is on the floor.
Huh. Maybe it just fell.
That's what they think. Just fell off the bed. They pick it up, put it back, go back to the game. No big deal.
Okay. But then...
About 10 minutes later, Jack speaks up again. He's like, no, seriously, I just saw movement behind you again. He sounds more certain this time.
Okay, now that's weird. Twice.
Yeah. So the narrator turns around.
Right.
The pillow is on the floor again. Exactly the same spot.
No way. That's not natural.
The narrator starts getting really anxious now, knows it couldn't have just fallen twice like that. They slowly bend down to pick it up again, feeling really uneasy.
And what happens?
As they're bending down, Jack just screams through the Zoom call. A terrified scream.
Oh, God. What did Jack see?
The narrator rushes back to the laptop, asks Jack, what's wrong? What did he see?
And Jack tells them.
Yeah. Jack just says, terrified, look under the bed.
Don't look under the bed.
But they do. They look under the bed, and the light from the TV reflects off 2 glowing eyes.
Oh, my God. Someone's under the bed.
Yes, and as soon as the person realizes they've been seen, they jump out, tries to grab the narrator.
Ah, fight or flight time.
Total instinct. The narrator swings their arm, manages to hit the intruder square in the nose, hard.
Good shot. Did it stop them?
It made them bleed and stumble back onto the bed for a second. The narrator gives a description. Older guy, maybe 45 Klesar, long messy hair, beard, skinny but tall, like 6'3".
And that second is enough.
Enough to run. The narrator bolts out of the room, sprints to their mom's bedroom upstairs, gets inside, and locks the door.
Okay, safe for a moment. Mom's in there.
Yeah, wakes her up, tells her, call the police, now. Mom's confused, but does it.
Can they hear the intruder?
Oh, yeah. They hear heavy footsteps moving through the house, coming towards the bedroom door.
This is terrifying.
They hear him reach the door, try the handle, realize it's locked, knows they're inside.
Does he start banging?
Not right away. And this part is super creepy. The narrator says they hear a small chuckle from the other side of the door.
A chuckle. Oh, that's messed up.
Then the narrator, terrified, looks under the crack of the door, sees his feet, and then the intruder looks back.
Looks back through the crack.
Yeah. Sees a bloodshot eye staring back, and drops of blood on the floor from where they hit his nose.
I can't even imagine.
And then the voice. Psychotic, high-pitched, childish, according to the narrator, says, you'll pay for that.
Oh, God. Then the banging starts.
Narrator backs away from the door, and yeah, the intruder just starts screaming like a maniac, banging on the door, shouting. Over and over, Mom's crying.
Where are the police?
Just then, they hear sirens outside. Finally.
Thank goodness. Did the intruder stop?
No, keeps going, even as the police are outside the house, knocking. The cops hear the screaming and banging from inside.
They don't wait, do they?
Nope. Kick the bedroom door right down. Narrator says it was literally like something from a movie.
Wow. What does the intruder do?
Stops banging, turns, faces the cops, looks like he's going to attack them.
Oh.
But an officer uses a taser. He goes down, shaking. They cuff him, take him out.
Okay. Safe now. Physically safe.
But wow.
Yeah. A third officer stays, talks to the narrator and Mom. They figure out he got in through a window in the dad's office.
Did he have anything with him?
Yes. Under the narrator's bed, where he was hiding, they find a small axe and a drill.
An axe and a drill. What was he planning? Horrifying to think about. They find out later the guy was undocumented, nobody knew him, no family found. He gets sent to a mental institution.
But there's more, isn't there? The source mentions something else found later.
Yeah, this is maybe the most disturbing part. He claimed he lived in the woods nearby. Police search. Find this small, rundown shack.
What's inside?
Weapons, old food, and 2 pictures of the narrator.
What? Pictures of them?
Yes. One picture was taken inside their house, outside their bedroom door, while they were asleep.
He was in a house before.
Apparently. And the second picture was taken from outside the house through a window while the narrator was eating dinner.
This guy was stalking them, watching them, for who knows how long.
It changes everything. It wasn't random. It was targeted, planned.
And the only reason they knew he was even in the room that night was because Jack saw something on Zoom, miles away.
Incredible, isn't it? That remote connection, that friend's perspective through a screen, was the first alert to an immediate, physical, deadly threat right there in the room.
The narrator wraps up just hoping nobody else ever goes through that. Adds it to the list of awful memories from that year.
Yeah, understandable.
So we've heard these 3 accounts now. An intruder spotted via webcam, a digital entity with impossible knowledge, and a home invasion discovered through a friend's remote view.
They really do tap into those lockdown anxieties, don't they? Being home, feeling maybe safe, but also connected in ways that felt porous sometimes.
Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, the lines felt so blurred. Public, private, digital, real. And these stories, as told, just amplify that feeling.
When remote connection became everything, the idea that those same tools could become conduits for fear, it's potent.
It really makes you think. The technology that brought us together kept us working, kept us social. Could it also in some way be a window for things we'd rather keep locked out? Things finding a way into our most private spaces.
It's definitely a provocative thought, the unseen connections and what might travel along them.